Good evening and welcome to the Indie Bandits Twitch and YouTube channel. My name is Jimmy and I'm here with Joe.
Good evening, Jimmy.
Good evening, how are you?
Sad and excited. I think that's an odd mixture of emotions. But could this be the end of the Friday night Total War stream? Like, are we putting the final nail in the coffin of this disaster of a campaign this evening,
I don't
or is
know.
is
Depends how
there a
much we get
twist in
attacked.
is there a twist in the tail? That's what I don't know.
If it's just constantly being attacked, then we'll be here another 5 years, but we might be able to get through it. We might
Oh,
be
how are
able.
you anyway?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy week, but ready to kill some more Danes,
Kill
which is
some
pretty
chat,
much all we've been
drink,
doing.
drink beers, chat shit, and kill Danes.
Yeah.
We should change. Let's get rid of the celebrate indies tagline and just go with get drunk, kill gains, kill Danes, and chat shit.
Yeah, do it.
Are we killing some more Danes? Are they still at it?
That's all we've been doing.
No, man. Fucking hell. I know I am amped about it, but I do have to level with you. I'm sick of being attacked by these godforsaken Danes.
I know.
And
It's
it's
getting
not.
a bit much now.
I'm not against all Scandinavians. I feel that's important to preface this whole stream with because I was enjoying the Rasmus earlier on. If anyone remembers the Rasmus,
Oh yeah.
the Rasmus are class. But did you know they're celebrating Finland in the Eurovision this year?
Are they?
Yeah, how good is that?
All right, okay.
It's awesome, right? Yeah, that's something to look forward to.
I mean, it's awesome for the neutral, but it says something about the Rasmus's career if that's what it's come to.
Or Finland's Eurovision entries.
Yeah.
It's like all of this points to a loss for Finland as a country and a win for the people of Europe. Because the people of Europe get to enjoy the Rasmus like 15, 16 years after they last generated a hit, which is a shame because I think you and I are the only two people who've listened to any Rasmus stuff since In the Shadows. Is it called In the Shadows?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, In the Shadows, like their one and only hit. Whereas I remember listening relentlessly to their album and later songs. That's on our new Spotify playlist.
Yeah, it is.
Some modern Rasmus
newer
crack on.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, it's decent. And so is their earlier stuff when they weren't like gothic in any way, shape, or form, and they were like a ska band.
Yeah.
I know. Well, if you do want to see more of them, Eurovision's where you're gonna catch them.
I know. It's weird that though.
Mint. I was very excited for that, and then my enthusiasm was soured by the appearance of Danes in this godforsaken campaign where we get nothing but attacked by everyone.
Every person in this game who's miraculously still knocking about in the game as well. That's the really crazy thing.
It's daft, but I feel we might have learned. Don't know what we'll have learned, but I feel we've learned something.
I think Europe's learned not to attack England.
Well, it hasn't because it keeps doing it. It hasn't learned anything.
Have we learned nothing?
We've learned nothing of spending 500 years attacking England to no avail. It's just wasted. It's wasting your time. It's wasting my time. It's like the teacher telling you off at the class. It's like,
yeah,
I don't have to go anywhere. They do, by the way. That's the spoiler alert. Teachers that are like
they want to go as well. That's
of course they fucking do. I haven't taught in schools, but I have taught. That sounds weird. That sounds like I'm just doing like random lessons in the street. But teachers do. It's not just your own time you're wasting. The teacher does have somewhere to be. They're just hoping you won't call their bluff.
Yeah.
Because most kids don't have the wherewithal to realize that other people have lives and stuff they need to do. Like, you know, at especially in primary school, kids can't understand that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just developing their own idea of the self. So they're not really ready to comprehend that other people have like motivations and hopes and dreams and stuff. They just think everyone like exists around themselves. I mean, I guess like male show writers who can't write female characters. It's much the same. What's that rule? Where like female characters have to be talking about someone other than their boyfriends?
I don't know.
There's like a rule of script writing. It's like if two female characters are on stage or in the scene, are they talking about their male love interests or something pertaining to their male love interests? Or are they actually talking about their own like ambitions and depth as characters? Because if not, you've sort of like failed the equality test on script writing. It's a thing.
Right.
I mean,
Wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, very few script writers are as well. It's like female characters only exist to prop up the male characters in many respects. That's
and you're
why it
telling me
exists.
that they don't. That's not supposed to be the case.
No, apparently, people got a bit sick of male-dominated shows where male characters lead the show, and whenever there are female characters, all they're doing is like the equivalent of Poochie in The Simpsons. When Poochie's not on screen, they should be asking, "Where's Poochie?" Where's he going? Yeah, I forget the name of it, but it's like it is an interesting social concept that will change the way you watch shows when you're thinking about it. If you like watch a show, then rewatch it with that in mind and go, do any of the female characters actually have their own drives or ambitions, or are they merely there as props for the male characters' plot points?
Right.
So sadly, it happens more. You know what? You like when you think about it. As this male-dominated white jug of milk stream that we're doing. Until you think about it, you're like, oh damn, shit. Even stuff that I thought was like really woke and progressive, you watch it going, oh fuck, like all the women do is stand around and talk about their like male counterparts or potential love interests. And they only exist as like props that can speak for the progression of the male-dominated plot.
Oh,
But I guess there's also something to be said for writing what you know. So if you're a male script writer, you don't want to I don't write scripts. But I feel if I did, I wouldn't want to write what I think people who aren't me would say. Like I wouldn't want to speak for people of, different genders or ethnicities. Because I was just like, because I can't, if that makes sense. Like you've just got to listen to what they have to say about it. No. Anyway. Far too heavy for a Friday night stream.
I know you've come out swinging for the.
I know. I feel I'm in a topical kind of mood. I guess maybe I'm just like. I guess I'm just in one of those moods where you just like, if I say it on the internet, I'll change the world, which is, I guess, the whole internet. The whole internet is just out there thinking that anything any of it says matters, which is also not the case.
No.
Anyway, let's take a big U-turn on this far too heavy for Friday night conversation and chat about White Lightning, because that's what I've been wanting to chat about since earlier on this afternoon. I was having a chat about it with the lass earlier, and she doesn't know what White Lightning is. Nobody knows what White Lightning is.
Why would she?
No, exactly. But I'd mentioned it, and I was like, look, when me, Jimmy Bandit, and Archie Bandit were interrailing around Europe about 15 years ago, we invented a card game, and it's incredible.
The card game against which all card games should be measured.
Look, if the name wasn't already taken, this game should be called Cards Against Humanity because it is against humanity. I don't think I've ever played a more violent card game that also brings so much
to so
to
many.
humanity. Exactly. Exactly. Like, look, I mean, the tagline for me is that this game is extreme snap, right?
Yes.
At its core, it's snap. For those who don't know snap, same card, you slam your hand on the table. Now let's mix up the complexity and just have several potential snaps on the table. But you're allowed to like leap across the table to claim pairs.
As you command, my liege.
And there's more than two players. Like, it was a good game and is a good game. And I couldn't remember half the rules for it. But I do remember that the genesis of White Lightning was that Archie Bandit didn't know how to play poker. So on long train journeys around Europe, we couldn't play poker with him. So we just played whatever game we could with cards. And just kept adding rules to Snap.
Yeah.
If I remember it correctly. And I think there is a game design lesson inherent in White Lightning though. And that this game wasn't about winning. And it was purely based on the players having fun. Like, I recall there being rules in which if there was any disagreement, if anyone piped up and said, no, I got the pair first, you just shut that whole thing down and went to a lightning round.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? Like,
yeah.
It was in the whole reason behind the game was not to have a winner. It was to just be silly. Like, that is the... Like, not that many people cared about winning. That was our whole thing. It was just to kill time on trains. It was just being... And I think there needs to be more games like it. It straddled the whole sports/entertainment. No, but it was like WWE. That's the
sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. They even called sports entertainment. Except this wasn't rigged, and I'm still reigning world champion. 14 years. Just saying. But yeah, everything about it was silly, and everyone who played it, everyone I ever showed the game to, had a hard time playing it, like first or second round. But then once they cottoned onto it and realized that it was an ultimately pointless endeavor, they loved it. It's like a very, I don't know, fatalistic or nihilistic approach to card games. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None of it matters. This is just a vehicle for the players to shout loudly on European trains.
Pretty much.
Just be silly. I mean, how many people just thought, like, you could see people wanting to know the rules of the game. You know, you could see other passengers on trains trying to reverse engineer this game because they saw just how much fun we were having playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was the intrigue, because everyone is just watching going,
what are they doing?
What card game are they playing? Because they seem to be enjoying it more than anyone has ever enjoyed a card game. And we're like giggling and shouting and just being silly. And that plays a lot of stock in silliness. I think it's not really an emotion, but do you not feel that, like, every single person just has this kind of, like, desire to just be silly, just be a little bit silly every so often? You know, you spend your whole life having to not be silly, like at work or in like various social situations, and the moment where you can actually be silly is the most enjoyable moments of your life. You know, where all the social constraints don't matter anymore. Like, you know, even if you're out and like having fun in certain social groups, you've still got to like maintain the front. You've still got to like try and be cool.
Be cool, man.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like if you were, if I had such a social circle of like, and this is generalizing wildly, of bros. Like if we were some bros somehow hanging out, you don't want to say something that's lame. Now there's a lot of like weighted terms of that, but you get what I mean. But you know, or friends or acquaintances you don't know that well, and you're just like, should I go 100% me right now and say like the mad shit that's on my mind that I think's funny? And you're like, no, probably not. But when you get that opportunity, god damn it, it's like, it's the best.
I will defeat you honorably, my worthy foe.
Ooh.
Like when you and Archie Bandit were over last weekend, it happened. We should have streamed it. We should have streamed the whole weekend. I think that's a.
God, not the Saturday night.
But just like 2 years of pent up not being able to like properly see each other and properly hang out. Like the actual, we actually know each other's silliness came out.
Yeah.
The kind of shit between like genuine friends where you're just like, to anybody else, this is not funny, but we all know where we're at.
Yeah.
That's what the silliness is about. That is the core of White Lightning. The kind of silliness that comes from lifelong friends. See, I think I turned around the darkness of the opening of this stream. I took it from grim heavy shit to lifelong
taking a more
friendship.
jovial turn.
I love a good jovial. Everyone needs a jovial turn. That's what it's about.
Hail, my king.
We did have we had a new dev join the ranks of Ko-Fi supporter today as well. It was very nice. It's always nice to.
Is it Ko-Fi or is it coffee?
I don't know. I say Ko-Fi just to differentiate it from coffee, but it's clearly a play. Either way, it's a play on coffee. Like that's the point, right? But I don't know. I want to see what it is now, but yeah, Ko-Fi, coffee. You think they'd say, right?
Beer it is.
Yeah. So apparently it rhymes with no fee. So Ko-Fi, so not Ko-Fi, it's Ko-Fi.
Ah, okay. Okie dokie.
Ko-Fi rhymes with no fee. How funny would that be if I just pronounced it like Ko-Fi? Just butchered it. Yeah, so it's Ko-Fi. There you go. And yeah. Always nice to have support. We appreciate it.
We do.
Ko-Fi and Patreon are the available avenues to support Indie Bandits. Just in case you were wondering.
All types of Indie Bandits. Not just these Indie Bandits, but all Indie Bandits.
All Indie Bandits? We are the only Indie Bandits. That's the thing. We are Indie Bandits. Like, I'd love to see someone try and swoop in and take. I feel I'm tempting fate here, but I'd love to see. I'd love it. I'm gonna go full Kevin Keegan on this ass. I'd love it. Love it to see someone swoop in and try and take Indie Bandits. Except that basketball team, which they spell it differently, so that's fine. There is a basketball team called the Indie Bandits in like Indiana or something, or Indianapolis.
Fair enough.
But when I was getting all the the social media tags and all that crack on, I realized it was spelt differently and there was no chance of any trademark infringement because there's no way in hell anyone believes we are that like high school basketball team in Indiana. Like, we'll be fine.
I think we'll be okay. Yeah.
There's no issue of provenance. Like I'd get it if we were I don't know, playing basketball, for example. Like if we start an Indie Bandits basketball team, if we find how many people are on a basketball court at once, 6, right? If we find like 2 more bandits to join our basketball team of people with limited basketball experience, and then start playing basketball and calling ourselves Indie Bandits whilst playing basketball, then I guess this Indiana high school basketball team would have a complaint. But as it stands, I think we're okay.
I think we'll be alright.
But I did make sure to check so that you get all the, all the shiz. When names were being brainstormed and stuff like that, this was the one that had all the URLs and social media accounts except Instagram, where we are the Indie Bandits. Yeah, we got them all.
Nice.
So canonically, we are the Indie Bandits. Bar the basketball team. At least in indie games, that's us. There are no others. So we are Indie Bandits, like Legion. We are many.
Hey, bless them, they're trying.
Is this still Carnarvon?
Yeah, Spanish is the love affair with Wales continues.
Why not? I was watching, not just randomly, but well, I guess randomly if you count YouTube as random. I was watching some Welsh people fighting on YouTube yesterday. Just kind of crack on.
It's called rugby, Joe.
It was not rugby. It was I think it was motorcyclist dash cams.
Okay.
Fell into a bit of a YouTube hole. I know exactly. It's a common spiral, but it started with like cute cat videos. Then I did cute dog videos. Then it went to cute animal fail videos. Then it went to fail videos. Then it went to road fail videos. Then it went to 1 hour of motorcycle dash cam, helmet cam, whatever videos, and it was just watching people drive terribly on the roads. Disgusting. But it's one of these. It follows the key rule of the internet, which is you're either outraged or
taking your
super
clothes
condescending. Sorry, that's the third rule. Yeah, I meant opinion-wise. Like,
okay.
Anything on the internet is either outrage. One side is outraged, and the other side is being like condescending dicks about it. That's it. They're the only 2 moods available on the internet, barring the secret third horny mood. That's like an unlockable, only available after 11, when everyone's out the house. But yeah, so we had the motorbike gadgies on the YouTube, and watching like people drive terribly around motorists who are extremely vulnerable due to the vehicle they're driving, plus watching people who are extremely vulnerable due to the vehicle they're driving like they're not extremely vulnerable due to the vehicle they're driving. So there was a bit of both sides. There was a lot of there were a lot of instances with people driving cars doing stuff that would put motorcyclists in a serious amount of danger. Then there was also a lot of motorcyclists driving around extremely dangerously and going, what did you think that car was going to do? Like a car about to pull round another car, and then a motorcyclist's deciding they're going to gun it past all 2 of them. Like a motorcyclist deciding to overtake a car that's about to overtake another car, and then wondering why the car that was overtaking the car that was pulling over didn't look for a motorcyclist overtaking them at double the speed limit, then pulling up alongside them to have a Barney with them. And it's like, all right, if you were driving sensibly and within the rules of the road, as outlined in the driving test that you've done, that both of yous have done, this situation wouldn't have occurred. Like, all of the situations were like that if both parties in every situation had been driving as they would have been taught and would have had to have driven to have passed their driving test, motorcycle or otherwise, this would not have happened. Like, a lot of these look like videos from like the hazard awareness test. If you've done your hazard awareness, haven't you? Watching videos where you watch a little video of a car driving past loads of stopped traffic, and you're like, when do you click the hazard awareness? It's like, well, it's now, because there's a lot of stopped traffic and there could be people coming out between the stopped traffic. I saw a dude get like absolutely pummeled by a motorbike. They were both fine, but like a bus in a single lane late at night had stopped to pick up passengers. And it stopped all the traffic behind them. And this motorcyclist with their own camera decided to gun it past the lot of them. And a pedestrian stepped out between, like, in front of the bus to cross the road, you know, assuming all traffic had stopped. Which, again, not wise on their part. The pedestrian shouldn't be doing that. But similarly, the motorcyclist shouldn't be gunning it past a load of stopped traffic. He ended up having to slam the brakes on, falling off his bike. He came off worse off than the pedestrian. The pedestrian got hit, stood back up and went on the path. The motorcyclist couldn't get his bike back up and stuff and was just sat in the middle of the road. It's like, yeah, well, both parties are to blame here. Sorry, neither of you should have been doing what you're doing. But a lot of these videos were just the outrage / I'm right kind of thing. So it was a lot of and I felt about 50-50. It's very entertaining because you get that third kind of, well, I get to just be the umpire of this, and as the umpire, that makes me always right. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're watching conflicts between two people, and all you're doing is judging. It's a very satisfying, you know, watching people make mistakes when there is no right answer means whatever you pick, you're right. That you're just sat making a judgment call in what are mostly 50-50 scenarios. It's like being a referee, but without them being allowed to turn around and argue with you about your decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all football fans watching telly at home, who always make the best refereeing decisions because they're never called up on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can sit at home and go, referee got that one wrong, referee got that one right, referee got that one wrong, referee got that one right. It's like, yeah, you're always right because the only person checking your answers is you. So it's a very satisfying thing to do, and knowing that, like, when you're just judging dashcam YouTube videos,
Our men are winning the battle.
well, you're always going to be right.
This, we will smash the enemy.
I mean, you know, there was me in the last there, but we also mostly agreed on anything. It would be interesting. I mean, that's not a fight that's not a hill I'm gonna die on, you know? Like, if we have a disagreement over which motorist is in the right or wrong watching YouTube dashcam videos. I know what side my bread's butter on. It's a very weird kind of, like, I can go to sleep being wrong in that argument.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. A younger me wouldn't. A younger me would have, like... It's the thing about being younger, though, isn't it? You've always got to be right. I think everyone goes through a phase where you think you've worked out the entire world.
That was different for me. I was just always right. Didn't have to be right. It just, you know, just always was.
Oh, yeah. But that's it. Just... It's amazing, because I think from about 15 to 30, I was never wrong. It was excellent. For about 15 years of my life. I mean, I wish I could have maintained that hot streak of correctness. Because that's like just shy of 4 World Cups of being right.
Only half the the enemy force
15
remains.
years of never ever being wrong. It's funny though, because I think a lot of my peers felt the same. That was the absolute thing. Like,
Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
pub was a lot less fun after a few drinks in. That was that's something that happens with it. It's like you can be right in your own head, but I think after 4 pints, you have to also be outwardly right. The satisfaction of just being right to yourself doesn't cut it anymore. You have to make sure everyone else knows how right you are.
Yeah, loudly. Well, this isn't going to take too long.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Mulling over what we have to do next.
What do you mean?
Like after world domination.
Oh, I don't know. Right, what's happening here?
We have a very difficult task ahead of us.
I know, we've got to figure out what the next game's going to be. Oh, they're coming back. Shoot them.
I think, and maybe this is a bit out there. Indie, maybe? Maybe something indie.
Possibly.
Yeah.
That might work.
I mean, I know this was
Is
kind
the
of
audience expecting that, though? That's the big thing.
Like, we're trying to throw them curveballs, are we?
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to become too predictable. Though I do think, as indie bandits, indie games might be a goer. I think our audience likes that.
Possibly. He's facing the wrong way, guy. You just got one in the arse.
Excuse me.
Put a Spaniard on the wall. I was an adventurer just like you, and I got an arrow up the arse.
It's funny how that became very mimetic. That arrow in the knee.
Yeah.
I remember I listened to like podcasts and crack on. Oh no, I think it was maybe the No Clip documentary on Skyrim where the guy who wrote that line was like, I wrote hundreds of thousands of innocuous like character dialogue lines.
Yeah.
Like, why was that one picked up on?
I don't know.
It's like, what about it captured the spirit of the community?
No idea, but there was something about that line. Spawned a million memes. Come on, man. Just stick around or go away. Attack or go away. That's the two options you got. Standing on the walls waiting for the timer to run out is not an option here.
It'd be an option in Siege, in Rainbow
It
Six
would
Siege.
be. I mean, this is technically a siege, but I'm the one who should be standing on the walls waiting, not the attackers.
Yeah, they've got a job to do, really.
They do. It's on them to get in, really, isn't it? I've already got it. They want it.
That sounds like a female black empowerment song. I've got it. They want it.
Alright, I'm going to charge my general out and hopefully you won't get killed.
That sounds like a euphemism.
Let's get it! Alright, let's speed this up. Line up the charge. And now charge.
You considered
Whoa.
that what's it called? The indie game that's like this?
It's an indie game like this.
Yeah, it's like called. Is it called Kingdom Crusaders?
Oh, right. I don't think it's got the battle screen stuff. But it's, yeah, like
Is
really
that
in-depth,
pure
like,
Civ?
world sort of, like Domination Civ simulator thing, isn't it? Yeah, I've heard good things. It's really in-depth, though, I've heard.
The battle is very much in our
I think it
favor.
might have
If
the
we remain
battle
true
screens.
and
I'm looking up
steadfast,
screens here, and they are
victory will
like.
be ours.
Alright, okay.
They have
Crusader
bat-
Kings?
Is it called Crusader Kings? I'm looking at. Yeah, I think that's the one. The most recent being Crusader Kings 3.
Return of the Jedi.
Exactly. Yeah, like I don't know, it might be map only.
If we
You're right.
continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
I'm looking at something else with Crusader in it. Yeah, Crusader Kings doesn't have the actual battles. That is like, I think that's supposed to be like granular. What's it called? Granular Civ style gameplay.
Yeah, it's like a management thing, really, isn't it? Like you're managing your dynasty and the political side of it, and all of that is very in depth, isn't it?
Yes, it's like a granular macro version.
Diplomatic and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not on the. You're not a commander. You're a leader of an entire civilization.
Yeah.
At that point, not an actual with the horses and charging into battle kind of leader.
Behold how our by the grace of God.
Just cut them off.
Barring that, it is
God's will, we have
it's made by the Gajis who did. I can't remember its name. Colonizing Mars. What's it called, man? The one where you colonize Mars. It's not called colonizing
Surviving
Mars.
Mars.
Yes, thank you. I always get the names of things about 50% right, I feel.
Muster your courage,
Enjoying
men.
Mars.
We march into battle.
Holidaying in Mars.
Appreciating Mars.
A day out in Mars.
Oh, it's a bit snowy. It's a little bit snowy.
It's only ever snowy, though. For half the year, though, isn't it? Every other year, sorry.
For what, in this game?
Yeah, like every second year is snow.
Yeah. You can go in there. Is everyone on guard? Yes, they are. Where's me archers? You go there. Stick them down. Get out of that.
You mean to ask you, how do you feel about card games in video games? We were talking about
like deck building type of thing.
like deck building, and yeah, like the games where you play with cards, but not really because you're in a video game.
Well, I played Slay the Spire, didn't I? And that was one of those types of things, and I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We did a few demos the other night, Archie Bandit and myself, and we had a couple of deck builders in that. And I remember talking about that and Slay, those and Slay the Spire.
If I had time, I'd experiment with a lot of different. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You can just. It's overrated. I don't know if that's having a go at the game or just the name, but says in the chat that if they had time, they would experiment a lot with different battle tactics and strategies and formations in this game. It's probably one of the more fun aspects of Total War games is actually coming up with creative ways to set up, especially like the pitched battles like this on the maps. I think on a siege, you're pretty much limited to which wall are you going to defend.
Don't the later games have more tactical depth?
Way
than
more,
this?
yeah. Choke points, like different ways, different formations, and all sorts of different things you can do with it. Yeah, much better. But this was still like not bad for the time.
I think all strategy games and like RTSs like owe it to themselves to have a system that's deep enough to allow this experimentation. This doesn't have like online though, does it? There's not.
Yeah, you can play this against people online.
Just a battle then. I'm guessing it doesn't do the overworld stuff.
I think you can do sieges as well.
That'd be a ball ache though, wouldn't it? No, but I mean like you know like an over because I tried playing Civ once online and that's just fucking terrible. That's just I don't see the point in it.
So I'm being quite sneaky here and using the church outside the settlement to protect an entire flank, so they have to come round. Because they attacked me.
More men. They hope to make up in numbers what they lack in gallantry.
Let's see what happens. Got a cheeky flank around the buildings.
So it has the hot seat campaign, and you send the file. And you send the file around each player, so it's a bit like postal chess, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like that was the. It's not what I'm looking for in online play.
Run into me, wall of pikes. Ugh. That was the noise of them running into the wall of pikes.
Good noise.
Oh. Where's the other army? Oh, it's way back.
It's Friday night weird noise stream.
I'm gonna get a cheeky route going here.
You mean route as in like the medieval sense, not as in the way Americans pronounce route?
Technically, it's both because they're doing a cheeky route around the building.
Our men are winning the
they're going the cheeky route to route them.
The opponent.
Come on.
Too late in the week for shit like that, Jimmy.
Come on. The modern Total War games have multiplayer campaign as well, so you can all pick a faction and play the game, taking turns and stuff. That's pretty cool. In late game,
but how does it play
time.
it? That is.
Depends if you're in like a chilled type of thing, though. It's quite good for like a chilled game because you can play quite relaxed. Also, you can choose to ally with the other people that you play with, so you're not playing against them. You can kind of like come up with some pretty cool ways to beat the AI. Stick it on.
Like, yeah, like a co-op campaign against like challenging AI. Like I did.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that. I mean, you're talking to someone who has sat in on
The
now
enemy are
what
badly
30
blooded.
streams
They have
and
lost half their
not
men.
played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I played it myself, but I mean on stream, I'm not the active player in this, but it's I don't know if it's purely the art aesthetic or the setting that doesn't do it
The
for
enemy
me.
army flees the field. Pursue
The
and
medieval
hunt them
thing.
down.
Yeah, like if you're not that, because it's not the RTS thing or the
Yeah, because the,
like
the,
world
pro-
management thing.
the problem with the historical ones, I say problem, they're still great games, is that obviously they're restricted by some level of historical accuracy, so there are very few differences apart from the skins between
Different
the
units
different
and that,
factions and things. Like, you're essentially, no matter who you pick, going to be commanding a medieval style army, whereas the fantasy one, the Warhammer ones, the differences between the factions are hugely, like, there's so much variety that the game has tons of replayability.
and interesting and offers depth as well.
Yeah, so I kind of find those ones a little bit more fun. You can kind of tell that
Because the factions
devs were
are
having more
designed
fun
to
with it
be
as well.
interesting to one another.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, yeah, they would go like, will that make the game more fun? Then we can include it. Whereas in real life historical versions, they need to like validate the reason for something being in.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't just be like, well, this army gets some like cool ass tanks because the other units are OP. You can't be doing that. People would be upset. But also, I mean, what is the reason behind people playing the game if not to sort of emulate interesting historical events and battles? I know it's not an out and out just like historic battle simulator.
You can play historical, like famous historical battles. They do
Of
have
course.
them preset. Into
Exactly.
the game.
So there's that. So that is probably quite a large draw of the game. Like, what are you getting your player to do? Well, it's to live out the fantasy of being an amazing historical general, right? Like, it's that kind of power fantasy, right? That's like what we do in all games that we play. We just like kind of do something that we wouldn't be able to otherwise do if we weren't in a game, especially when you talk about like RTSs or like first person shooters. Like, despite what some corners of the internet would have you believe, not everyone who's ever played a game where you shoot someone has shot someone. But that doesn't mean the actual act of pretending to shoot someone isn't fun. I feel that there must be part of our monkey brains that enjoys it on the same level as saying a joke about something that you know you shouldn't be saying a joke about. But knowing that you're not actually doing the thing you're joking about, you're just joking about the thing you're joking about.
Yeah.
And there's some detachment, but there's kind of like the silliness point I was making earlier. It's like there are things we want to do and see and experience if there were no consequences to them.
Yeah.
Which, as civilized humans, we do it through art and other forms of media, games, cinema, all the things that you can't do in everyday life because you have, I guess, a heart stopping you doing nasty things to people that don't deserve it. You can live that out with like wargaming, RTSs, first-person shooters, going like, there is something interesting and entertaining about besting someone or something in competition, or replicating the situation with your own hindsight and learning, going, well, historically I wouldn't have done that, and if I was in charge of X football team, ex-monarchy in the Middle Ages, etc., etc. I would have done it differently.
Well. Boom! Down they go.
Like I was explaining my. And here's a very odd sentence that's going to come out of my mouth, but I was explaining my secret love to the lass earlier on, and that secret love is Motorsport Manager, a game in which you just do work. Essentially, you're just sat reading emails and hiring and firing people and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But like for the same reason people enjoy Football Manager and the Total War games is that like you're in charge, and it's like for me the joy is this sort of kind of like mental Olympics you're doing. Like you're given challenges, and the feedback loop is you make a decision and then you have to like live with that decision, whatever it is. And then the game tells you whether that decision resulted good or bad, and then you learn the mechanics of the game like you do in any game and try to manipulate said mechanics more effectively to achieve the desired results. But without like the complexity of also having to be quite dexterous, which, you know, for some games it's all about dexterity, you know, like certain like FPSs will just purely reward you for being a good shot. Or, you know, certain like adventure games will have you having like kill loads of beasties and be really good at like rolling and dodging, you know, like Dark Souls. They have you fighting stuff, and you have to be very good on the controller. You have to be like, you know, there is a somewhat physical skill involved in that. Whereas there are absolutely no physical skills required to be good at Motorsport Manager, because you can just pause the game and make your decisions. You know, there are no time constraints. So unless you accidentally click something whilst the game is paused, you'll be fine, you know?
Honorable, glorious victory.
But that doesn't mean I don't take great satisfaction out of going, you see, this is my strategy bearing fruits now. This is, you know, that's the joy of these kind of games. This is like, you know, when you build up an army to beat another army, and then you send it into battle and it wins, and you're like, that was through prudent financial planning that I was able to build that army and send it into battle and use the right strategies and formations and units that were strong against what they had. I just made a series of good decisions. I'm very smart. I'm very good. And here comes the dopamine. Like, that's how games, you know, that's how games work. They are just like smugness generators almost. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them are just like, you did good, well done for you. Your brain's gonna, we've tricked your brain into thinking you're dead smart. Well done. We create a little like maze for you, rat boy, and you've reached the end. Here's the cheese. Enjoy it. And it's great. It's like that is literally all we do. This is like all we do for entertainment, like ever. Like, games create fake systems in which we work out how much we want to struggle before we get the dopamine. And someone tries to work that out. It's the same in cinema and music or whatever, you know. There's a reason, like, when music goes from when one chord progresses to another chord, our brain likes it. Like, it gives it a sense of completion.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when that like really obvious chord isn't there, your brain likes it even more, because then it gets the chord it wants a little bit later. And because you've like staved off on getting the dopamine, apparently it's better. It's like there's loads of like weird chemical shit going on. And it's great.
Come and get me, you coward.
Okay, I will.
Sire, my lord.
What's he got?
Be gone, You are not my
No, I
lead.
can't do that, actually. It's too far away. Let's do a bit of retraining in Wales before the Spanish inevitably come back and try and take Wales again for the... We should have been counting how many times they did this. It was ridiculous.
I know. If anyone wants to go back through it and watch the 30 streams we've done of this game and see how many times Carnarvon gets attacked by the Spanish, be our guest.
Too many.
I'll say that now, right? Because we don't have that much of a following, but I definitely wouldn't be doing it if like we had thousands of viewers, because some poor so and so would actually go and do it, you know.
But then they'd be rewarded by actually I was going to say like having a character named after them, but you can't do that in this game. You can do it in the later ones. Could have named characters after people who'd been in the chat or doing stuff like engaged stuff within the game or something like that. That would have been good fun.
Absolutely, but I wouldn't subject someone to about 48 hours of our shit bans just to tell us a random number that we wouldn't even validate. It's like,
hey, look, there's a random Polish fleet just in this tiny little pond next to Novgorod. What's going on there?
That can happen in Civ as well.
What you done there?
Obviously, you can build boats for lakes, but clearly they've built a boat because the AIs thought that they should have a boat because they're next to water.
What you built a boat there for? Well, there's water. Okay, but why the boat? Well, there's water. Okay. And that's where it was left.
Hail, my king.
Yeah, it's...
God, I reckon I could sack that city, no problem.
Hail, my
It's
king.
like...
I mean, but they didn't leave York unlocked, so we can't really mock them that much.
No, they didn't wander out of York and leave it wide open for someone to just walk straight in without any problems.
That was a classic.
Whoops-a-daisy. Took it back, though.
Do not tell Mein Kaiser you saw me.
Not to reel it back in. Not that this conversation's got out of hand with Polish boats on lakes. But
Sounds
when
like
I was
an indie
taking
album, doesn't it?
Polish boats on lakes,
Yeah.
sounds like an indie band. Their album would have a name that sounds like it should be the name of the band. Do you know what I mean? Like the name of the band would be Polish Boats on Lakes, and the name of the album would be like The Answer or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, so is the band the answer or is the album the answer? I don't. Yeah, it's the indiest thing you can do in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I was taking stock of all our mighty achievements through 30 odd streams of Total War, and how over the course of all these hours we haven't been anywhere near winning the campaign for about half of them. And did you see the thing with Adele? Like,
no!
don't
King
worry.
James has died.
All right, it's the King James thing. I thought you were concerned about the Adele cancelling her Vegas residency.
I haven't heard anything about Adele.
Well, she basically cancelled like the first week or two of her shows, like the night before the residency was about to start, and so there are people going like, "Good for you!" Like no one should have to do something like if they're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Totally fine. I am in complete agreement with that. I'm very much of the opinion of like not flogging shit. Like, you know, if you can't put the show together, absolutely fine. Like no one deserves a substandard product. And similarly, the mental health of like anyone involved, also true. Like people should look after their own mental health, and there was some good stuff in the like Japan Olympics coming out of that with athletes who were going, no, not for me, I'm ducking out.
What was it? There was that famous gymnast who did that, wasn't there? Was it Simone Biles?
Yes. I was going to say the American lass representing Japan who did it as well. However, with the Adele thing, it was the night before, and pulling it back to our Total War campaign, which are two very obvious and comparable things. There was certainly a point of no return for her weeks ago where they knew the show wouldn't go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, it's not ready the night before. I'm like, well, if it's not ready tonight, surely it's so close to ready that you could still put the show on. Or not, because you just don't want to refund people or whatever. I don't know what the mechanics of that's going to work out to be, but it's just kind of like, there was a point of no return months ago when it was very, very obvious that this show wouldn't be ready on time.
Yeah.
It's sure, even last week, there's surely not, like, unless there was like a microphone delivery that was due to arrive last night, and they were like, that's the only thing we need, and it's so minute that, like, once we get it, we're fine. And it didn't arrive, and then she had to get on Instagram and go, sorry guys, the show's not ready, too many people had COVID, too much disruption, yada yada yada. Then I'm kind of like, no. This is something you could have said like a week ago, before everyone flew out to Vegas to like fucking see you paying thousands and shit like that. Get fucked. No.
You know what the thing is as well? She could quite easily pay them all back.
I don't know whether or not she is,
Well,
so
she
I'll like to speak on that. And probably she should, but also it's like,
hang on a second.
but it's not just that money; it's that time as well. Like, people have flown out. World's first huge cathedral.
Doubts as to the power of the church, they were dispelled once the people gazed upon God's greatest house on earth.
I have no idea.
Towering presence here shall ensure Christian dominance throughout
But I think, like, there were about 15 streams ago we knew we weren't going to win this. But we haven't been promising that we would. You know, so I think we're fine. Adele, however, not fine. Adele, you should have let the people know.
Yeah, definitely.
Night
so
before,
Milan
man.
have just decided to attack. So that's another one who's declared war.
Are they like? Were they holding out? Were they wondering
Just
if popular
waiting.
opinion would shift?
Yeah, now they're just like, we'll just do it as well. Everyone else has had a go. Why don't we just have a go as well? Well, it does make Florence easily gettable, I guess so.
I mean, I wonder if this, right, is it's like jumping in at the end of the fight and punching the guy who's unconscious. I mean, we've been holding our own, certainly, but we're bloody and battered and bruised, and it's like, it's the little like yappy bully, the one who's like the tiny dog of the bullies who hangs out with the bullies.
Bullies.
Yeah, basically. And they're always mouthing off in the corner, but they're never jumping into the fights. They're not the enforcer of the group of your bullies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment where they jump in and throw a random punch when they know, like, there's a full-on scrap going on. So when people recount the tale of the story, their name will get dropped in, like, who was involved. Bit like getting your minimum number of appearances for like a cup winner's medal or something. Making. There's that one person who, like, the sub goalie who actually didn't play any time but was on the bench, so gets the accolades.
I'm going to make one last push for Jerusalem as well, Joe. I've decided.
That also sounds like a euphemism.
I'm going for it. I'll get that
I think we
one.
have to. I think we owe it to ourselves to at least take Jerusalem.
You know what? We're not doing too bad. We're supposed to have 45. We've got 21. There's 7 turns left. If I can get Jerusalem and have half of them and be the top-ranked faction, then I'll claim moral victory.
It's like, it's like going, well, my partner got halfway to orgasm. I guess that's all right. Too soon. No, yeah. But yeah, bad crack on Adele. Another random shitey tidbit for you is I was listening to a podcast on the Tour de France and how their commentary.
Tell you what, Joe, the long winter evenings must just fly by for you.
I listen to podcasts as I fall asleep, so I get about half the relevant information and miss the other half, and have no idea what the point of the podcast. So you're half
informed by worldly
basically,
events.
Yeah. So it would be like listening to jokes and never hearing the punchline. Yeah. So I did listen to a podcast where a guy. Actually, no, I heard all of the one on the Tour de France. I was still awake. So when that one finished, which is ironic, given that you'd probably think that would be the one that would put you to sleep, right? The podcast on the Tour de France commentary, not even on the Tour de France itself, just the commentary of the people who talk about people cycling for hours on end. But the point was, it was the whole tale around how the commentators throw in loads of interesting facts about the historical places they cycle past.
Right.
And the guy speaking was saying that's what really gained his attention about the actual thing, not them talking about the cycling, talking about the historic sites and monuments that the tour would go past.
Right.
And basically this is a American guy. What's the podcast is called 99% Invisible, and it's about a lot of basically it's about things that generally go unnoticed but that should be that are quite interesting. Okay. And this was a mini segment on one of the producers who'd got into cycling a lot in the pandemic and had started watching the Tour de France, but because they're in like the west coast of America in California, he would be watching the tour like early in the morning because it would be like partway through the day in Europe. And he would be sat watching it. He wouldn't be paying full attention to it because he'd be like having his coffee in the morning. And he kept noticing that the commentators would regularly just have long segments of commentary talking about the sites, not the cycling. And they looked into it, and basically the tour had made such a disruption in the places it went through that like a lot of people like hated it going through because they closed roads and stuff like that. Yeah. And but then they also realized that it brought people to those places. Tourists would visit places because they'd seen them on the tour and were like, oh, that town looks lovely. And the tour goes through a lot of nice places initially at random because there are a lot of nice places in France to go through. Now it's by design. The places like want the tour to pass through where they go because it's a lot of television coverage, it's a lot of interest. But then they also, the organizers, hand over a load of information and historical tidbits about the places they're going through in this like guide to the places we're going through, specifically for commentators, just in English and French. So the English language commentators have this like massive compendium of all the historical sites, and this is given to like camera operators and stuff like that, so that like when you go past this, your shot's going to hover on this place for a bit. Actually, you're going to like try and keep this like chateau in focus as the site is come past. You're going to you're not going to be focusing purely on the cyclists at this point. You're going to make sure that this is in shot for a long time, because the English and French language commentators are going to be talking about it because we've given them a big book to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And it'll give them all the random tidbits. Glory to your name, sire. And it's this like added value to the commentary. I don't know what you call it, the extended product of the commentary. It's like watching an analogy that we go to a lot, the cricket commentary
Yeah.
For anyone who's never, for anyone who's never watched Test cricket, it's long as fuck. It like goes on for it's a sport that goes on for days. They break for lunch in the middle of it. It's insane, for people who've for people who know nothing of cricket to say something like something will go on for 5 days, and during the sport they'll go have their lunch. It sounds mental if you've not grown up with cricket, right?
Yeah.
If most sports last a couple hours. Any match of something lasts a couple hours. Longer sports, 5-6 hours at a push. Nothing lasts multiple days. But for the people who have to commentate on it, it's the long game. They're not here talking solely about the actual like play to play. And there's something about like Test cricket commentary that is like, it's soothing, isn't it? Listening to like, you can put it on. It doesn't ask for all of your attention, but it's like, it's nice. It's like sitting in your living room having a chat with your mates, having them in for tea. It's not a meeting. There are no objectives. You don't have to like brainstorm plans for the next quarter. You're just gonna sit and you're gonna chat shit about whatever you fancy chatting about that you just find interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget who it was, but there was some Test cricket commentators who would chat about pies they'd been sent in from listeners.
Yeah.
So if anyone would like to send us in pies, support us on Patreon, and because I don't want to give away my address online. That's insane. That's the quickest way to get, bombs and anthrax sent to your house. But if you do want to send us pies, support us on Patreon first, and then you can put your money where your mouth is and then send us pies. If you're giving us money, we'll trust you not to poison us that badly. But love it. Love a good bit of pie chat, random Test cricket commentary where any sport where the commentators aren't always talking about the actual sport can actually be like hugely enjoyable.
Yeah.
The Formula One does it a lot during the practice sessions, which I watch all the time as well. Because the cars are going around track, but there's not really enough action to be saying, yep, this guy's doing another recce lap. He's seen what the track surface is like. He's working shit out. He's not racing anyone. He's just reporting back setup information to his engineers. It's like a good moment for like the whole commentary team to like contextualize the entire sport before like the big race on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is like this stream. That's the take home I've had from this stream. It's our experimental practice random shite stream. And I feel we've learned a lot. Not how to win a total war. It's not been enlightening in that way, but
it's not been it's not worked out too well that way,
but I think there's an awful lot of take homes from this that will use in other streams.
Where's the other one of these? Oh, you're getting slaughtered, right? Aye. They didn't make it back in time. Right, let's see how this goes. Got some mortars here. Let's use them a little bit.
the Milanese, isn't it?
It
or
is,
House
yeah.
Ordos.
Right. God, it's going to be so hard to keep them out, but we can try. Stop. What are you guys? You guys get in there. Go on, pile in. Everybody get in there. Kill the king. Or the bodyguard. Or the general. Whatever he's called. Get him. There he goes.
The enemy general lies dead. We've sent the base cur to hell.
Now get in there. God, they've got a lot of crossbow.
How many hours do you think you've put in this game in total? Not just on this stream, but like in your life?
In my life?
Yeah, I was...
Medieval 2, I would say probably a couple of hundred.
And the franchise? I think it's similar numbers across a few other titles.
Probably maybe about not as many in some of the other ones. The Total War one's probably the most, so I would probably say maybe 750 hours maybe across all of the games.
I did listen to another excellent podcast talking about like long ass games. It was in the news. I forget the name of the game that mentioned it, but they said it was like the game's 500 hours long, and it was the length of time that would take you to walk from Madrid to Warsaw or whatever. And I was listening to that, and they talked about all the like, you know, the games that each played the longest. How many hours have you put in Siege?
Ooh. Probably similar to probably a couple of hundred now, yeah.
Because the guy on it kept mentioning Siege. He like his. I don't think I'm half that. I think I maybe 2/3 of the hours you've put in. So yeah, you mentioned that and like all these hours, and this is like shortly after PlayStation does that kind of like year in review and tells you like some you know, shareable, interesting, not engagement bait, because it's actually like whatever you'd call it, to like encourage people to like bants about stuff. You know, they know by telling all their players their like tendencies and stuff, they'll want to like compare them with their mates and discuss them.
Yeah.
Whatever you call that. So they put that out, and like I've got a few, I guess, like not guilty pleasures, because I think I'm not guilty about playing the games that much, but I am guilty that they're not indies, but indies aren't that long, if you get me, so they're never going to have these. Like, indies are like little and often, I feel. Like, indies are that one nice restaurant you go to, like, once a year. Whereas the shit you've got hundreds of hours in are often, like, McDonald's-esque, to use that kind of thing. So, you know, because I have got like, just last year I had 362 hours on Gran Turismo Sport. And you know, then there was like a huge drop off, but I can imagine most of those hours are like kind of in lobbies. If you get me, like, I know my play style. Like, this is the first stage of grief is denial, but like, I know a lot of those hours will be the minutes between races, because every race is on the half hour, and they normally finish at like 25 past and 5-2. So I know a large amount of that time will be the time between them, or me just sitting for like the 10 minutes before a race waiting for it to start. Just sat on my phone kind of thing. But still, good number of hours. And like, I do not know which indie game will have that like level of like continued replayability unless it's a multiplayer game. You know, and I feel bad because like my top five are all gonna be big games.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of Rocket League. But I think, you know, it's interesting to like to see how many hours there are, because that says like 300 odd hours, and that is by far and away like the game I've played the most. You know, I can sit on a weekend and just, I mean, you do 4 races and it's 2 hours. You know, like the time goes very, very quickly, and I don't even know what the time I've got on like Motorsport Manager or something like that. Like these time sinks of games.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's fun. I mean, listening to this podcast, it's like I'm getting concerned about like 300 hours, and then you're watching like people write into the podcast and saying like thousands of hours, and I don't think I have any game that has that level of input from me, except maybe like Grand Theft Auto 5, which for like several years was just like the go-to game when you've got nothing else to play. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And obviously me and Archie Bandit were playing that pretty religiously, as was Dom Bandit, as was, you know what, the whole reason Indie Bandits are called Bandits is because of that game, and Archie Bandit's silliness. Like, you know, we are on that game, we go by bandits, like, because we just like rob shops. That's like, it took us tens and tens of hours to like get engaged with that game on any more level of like what they designed it to do, other than driving around being stupid. You know, like, you know how there's like, you know how when like for years Grand Theft Auto has had like a world that you drive around in and do missions on, right?
Uh-huh.
But you also know how you can just go on Gran Turismo and like kick up a big stink and get a big wanted level and go on a rampage, right? You know, like how that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing in game that it will stop you from doing that. So if you have like friends around and you're like, oh, I've got the latest Grand Theft Auto, do you want to just grab the controller and just like nick some cars and go mental for a bit? And you're like, yeah. And then when you die, you'll just pass me the controller and you'll just like drive around and like just fuck about in the sandbox that is the like city you're based in, right? Well, I feel that like for the longest time when we started playing that online, that's all we do. It was just go online, chat shit, fuck about in the city in Grand Theft Auto 5. Not do any of the missions or any of the activities.
Yeah.
It was just me and Archie Bandit fucking shit up in a world where it doesn't matter if you fuck shit up in. That was the whole game for like tens of hours, and we would just like, we'd be satisfied with that. Like stealing helicopters and pulling off elaborate heists of convenience stores. Like that was our emergent gameplay from from Grand Theft Auto 5. Just and robbing convenience stores is easy. Like there is no like mechanical challenge to it. You have to walk in the store, point a gun at the cashier, and he hands over some money. That's it. That's the whole thing. And you can speed it up by shooting the gun around the cashier or shouting into your microphone. And that's all we do. We just spend hours doing that, and it gives you a pittance. Like it's a really like, but we didn't care. Like we weren't, we weren't in it for the loot. It was just the fun of like being stupid.
Yeah.
And making this very like mundane task in the game, mundane for Grand Theft Auto. Like we weren't doing any of the like special contact missions or any of the online activities with like other players. We just did that. That was our whole crack on. And we could kill hours doing it. And it's like it's funny seeing like what games will do that for you, like what games will allow you to sink that many hours into them and then think about what did I spend those hours doing. That's why I was interested in how many hours you'd sunk into this. And it'd be interesting it'd be interesting for you to then check that number and see how far off you are. Because
no, I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, I don't know if I've counted since we started doing this stream. That's added a few more, so it would have been prior to the stream in terms of.
I mean, the
Medieval
stream.
2.
If we're like, you've probably added 40 or 50 hours to it just on this stream.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Because this is 30, and we've done between like an hour and 2 each stream. So if each stream is between an hour and 2, average it as an hour and a half. If you have 30 streams, that's like 45 hours to add to it. But like I can't remember what my Steam for like Motorsport Manager is probably like hundreds of hours. Though those things like Football Manager, Motorsport Manager, the things where you sat like not doing anything, you can also just leave those on.
Yeah.
Not that I do, but I mean like, yeah, I just got up here 372 hours on Motorsport Manager. That's in total. That's like the whole game. But then with all of these games, I go phases on and off them. I don't know if you do that for like high games that you play for a lot of hours. Like I go through phases of just playing the one game a lot, and then not touching it for ages, and then going back to it.
Yeah,
for a couple of months.
Yeah, you get like a bit of a kick, don't you? You go play a game for quite a bit, and then
you get really into it.
Yeah,
and then you just fall off it. It's just there's a cliff, and you've overdone it. Whereas I think there's some people who are like nibbling away at it and just build up those hours consistently over time. I don't tend to have like long play sessions. The only one I do is like Gran Turismo, and like what I said with that, like a race is about 25 minutes. So you do 4 races and it's 2 hours gone.
Yeah.
Whereas like play 2 or 3 games of FIFA and they're about 12 minutes each. Like 6-minute halves. 12 minutes, you play 2-3 games and you've got an hour sunk. But that's like, you can do 4 races. As you got to enjoy last weekend, with the race wheel. It's rather addictive. It's rather fun. It's
fun, yeah.
It's the like. To be honest, I think about of those 300 odd hours, I think about 150 of them were last weekend with you and Archie Bandit round. I wish, but I did look at my stats, and we got a good amount of time out of the wheel, and even just Gran Turismo. Just just because of like it you can just jump on it for like 15-20 minutes and do that again, do that again and again, and that was like, we didn't have places to go and other things to do in that. Just chilling, you can easily just like have an hour playing that game. Just because it's so engaging due to the nature of like, having the steering wheel, the input, at least for me, is more engaging than a controller and a keyboard and mouse. You're so much more involved. I mean, I tell you, like my Fitbit classes it as light exercise when you're really going for it.
Yeah,
if you're in a proper race, like it'll get your heart rate up, because even if you think you're not like really going for it and you just sat there, it's not like just sat there pressing buttons with your thumbs. With all the force feedback on, it's not doing weights, but it's the equivalent energy expenditure of like standing up and walking somewhere. And by that point, once you're like mentally and physically engaged in an activity, I think it's very easy to like do it for much longer.
Yeah.
Like sport is like physically, it's physically engaging. You're up and moving, but like if you're bored of it, you don't want to do it. Like if you I don't mind running long distances, but I can fully understand how people don't get it if you can't get into like the mind frame of doing it and enjoying it. Then it is the easiest thing to stop doing. If you go out for a run and aren't feeling it, then I do not blame you for stopping, because it's fucking boring. I find it really like entertaining and like good mentally. But if you're not there and you're not in that headspace, then I completely understand just dropping off the edge of it and going, I'm not going to keep running because this is shit. And I think it's exactly the same thing if you could be enjoying something like mentally, but if physically you're not like moving, I don't know how engaging it can be either. Like, when you're watching...
Oh, that's the last guy.
I don't know if you can, like... I can't watch shows or play games for, like, hours on end because I get, like, the physical restlessness. Like a long film. There's points where, like, if the film's really engaging, you'll be moving back and forwards on your seat. Do you know what I mean? You'll be like, oh my God, your body just like feels compelled to move.
Yeah.
To literally sit on the edge of your seat. But without both of it, you're fucked. Like, and something like that, like games in VR, or like even just, even with the steering wheel or anything like that. Something that will really engage you in every possible sense.
Mm-hmm.
That you can play for hours and forget that you're doing it. But I don't see any like games that are really like that. That said, I'd love to see I'd love to have the VR and the steering wheel. Like, I feel like when the relationship between what you're doing in the real world is exactly what you're doing in like the virtual reality world, I think at that point you're going to have games that are like beyond enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're holding, like, a fake gun and then in, like, VR, you're holding a real gun and you're shooting people and stuff like that, like, when the relationship between what you're doing and what you're seeing is 1-to-1, then
Yeah.
you'll forget about it. You'll forget you're in a game. You'll fully immerse. Because, as it stands, I don't know how much you've played VR, but when you play like VR with the little like claspy hand controller things that aren't actually your hands, like if it was a proper glove that like wrapped around your hands and fully replicated the movement of your hands, maybe then. But it feels like you're using one of those, those like reacher things for people with disabilities, the little claw. So it's like a little claw on a stick with a trigger to pick stuff up out of reach.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it feels when you're picking stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm picking stuff up with one of those like reacher arm things. It's not quite the same as actually like physically picking up the object in the virtual reality and then like feeling it in your hands. Like, once it gets to that, it's game over. We're never going to play games on screen again. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be on your heat. Like the I think the specs for the latest PSVR are meant to be like 4K and all this kind of like great shit, and it's like, that is great, but it wasn't ever the fidelity or anything like that bothered me when I've played VR. It's about doing what I'm doing in VR. VR could look like absolute garbage. They just need to make games where what you're doing is what's happening on screen. That's where the immersion is. Any game that lets you do that, that's why the race wheel is so enjoyable, because you're like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm turning the steering wheel, I'm pressing pedals, I know what a car is. You do that in real life and it happens on the screen. Brilliant. Like, when you're playing this, it's like entertaining on like a cerebral level. You're telling the people to do and you're solving the puzzles mentally, but it's like a puzzle game, right?
Yeah.
If there was some way you were sat on horseback and like fake riding a horse and pointing a sword in the direction and shouting orders to all the people, like imagine like 50 years in the future and like voice recognition technology is there, and you're sat on some like weird stool in VR, and you're like, it's got force feedback, and it's like you're riding a horse in battle, and you've got to tootle around the battlefield. And even if like you can't get hurt or anything, just doing that and like waving your sword and telling like the archers to go over there and the pikemen to go there and get in position. If you were like screaming and shouting all that and waving your arms around and gesturing to them where to go, the level of engagement you'd have in this game would be unreal. And the level of saltiness you'd have when you lost would be like, you'd be inconsolable. Like, we've all had our little like rage tantrums on games, like when we're on Siege and we get shot and we can't understand how we did it, and it's like, the fuck just how did that happen? And then it's like, then you watch the replay and you're like, oh yeah, I was very exposed and very obvious there. But fuck me, if you were like genuinely like for a brief moment but believed you were on a horse and the general in a battle and it all went awry and you were just watching people like dive left, right and center in front of you, you'd be like so enraged, and it'd be excellent. And then if you won and turned the battle around, you're like, right, you few survivors, we're going back round the castle. I saw their commander. I'm having them. Let's do it. And you tootle around, you win that battle. Oh, the joy would be like unparalleled.
Yeah.
There'd be nothing you'd be able to do about it. Like that, it'd be excellent. And that's the problem with VR though. It doesn't feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in it. And games don't, but you're like, well, they're not trying to really. pressing buttons to make Sonic jump is not the same as like running around at that speed and rolling and jumping over shit. We know that. But VR is like trying to be that, so it should do that.
Yes,
Oh, is there nothing to recruit?
as you wish.
Bugger. I was hoping we might be able to take Florence, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to.
Shit, this is like the endiest of end games.
This is the last 3 turns, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything I can actually take, or if it's just
The
going to be
the golden 3.
Oh my
Fuck,
god,
we
they're
are
back
pish, aren't
again. Unbelievable.
Come face me.
Back
Name
again.
the field of battle. We will meet you there.
Sure you will. What we got? 21. Oh, we're not going to get Jerusalem. Like, we can get this one here. We can get Riga, so that'll be 22. Oh, can we get Florence? But then there's this bugger right here, Captain Co, who I know if I leave Bologna is just going to get there.
You can't just go out and chin Captain Co.
If I do that, I'll not have enough left to take Florence. Unless I get an army from over here to come run down and kill Captain Co.
See you dead, heathen. Marching to war.
Right, that's what's going to have to happen. What we got here? Pike militia and handgunners. I reckon I can do it.
Yes, sire. We bring the battle to the enemy.
Then I'll attack Florence. Now, if I end with more than half of what we needed to get,
We've half done it.
we've over half done. If I get Jerusalem, we've definitely over half done it. But Jerusalem in 3 turns is going to be some effort.
I think you should go for it. I think we should just scrap getting half of them and spend the last 3 turns just gung-hoing it to Jerusalem. Just pull your armies out of any army that's within reach of Jerusalem in
The
that
problem
number of
is
turns.
it's only a tiny number of.
But send all of it, even if it sacrifices other settlements and cities.
But there's nothing nearby. That's the problem.
That's what I mean.
The only thing we've got nearby is 1 settlement.
Well, that one has to be emptied for the sake of Jerusalem.
Jeez, hello. Oops.
I think the worst thing we can do is be within reach of Jerusalem and not have a really just pointless endeavor to try and take it with the most underwhelming army available. I think we have to end this with a battle for Jerusalem with no units. We owe it to the 45 odd hours put into this campaign to at least attempt to take Jerusalem, no matter how inevitable the loss is. We have to go down swinging, Jimmy.
Oh, we're going down swinging here. Stop doing that.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like
They
this,
do need to
we
sort
will
out that
smash
kind of like hi vocal cues.
Yeah. Come on, man. It should be... Oh, are these guys not running away? Jeez, they make... Bloody ballista crews just like, yeah, we can take on a guy in full plate armor. Sure. There we go, now they're running away.
Versus the might of House Ordos. That's not canon though, is it? I mean, it's canon for the games, but not for the books, right? And the films.
Yeah, there's... It's just for the games.
Games are good, man. Ah. Remember it? Was it 2000? June 2000?
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost
It's a
half
decent
their
game,
men.
right?
Which one, sorry?
2000, the one that was like pseudo 3D.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
I tell you what I did hate about all those games: concrete.
Oh, yeah, you
Fucking
had to build
pointless.
it, didn't you? Just you had to put it down to build a
But
structure.
it's stuck. Yeah, but it's stuck around for like Tiberian Sun and some of the Command and Conquer games as well.
Yeah.
Remember, you could, and I never did. I don't know anyone who actually put their bases on concrete because it was just. It took no time at all to build, but to build and place it would actually take. Unless you were like the AI who could do all of that instantly and didn't lose time to like moving the mouse cursor. It's kind of like I wish there was an option where you could just pick. I want every building to take like 1.5 seconds longer to build, but it's built on concrete. Like I'll sacrifice that now. Or if you could just like right click on the build option to have like a with concrete build, and just go, yeah, I just can't be asked to do like 4 extra clicks to get this done. You know, like click, build the concrete, place, set the building away to build, then place it on the concrete. Just have a prefab that comes with the concrete built in. Like that would have been easy.
The battle is very much in our favor. If
Yeah, it
we
was a bit
remain true and
bally.
steadfast, victory will
Massive
be ours.
ball there. You see, kind of just a pointless mechanic as well, really.
Well, it like in Tiberian Sun, I remember they had like subterranean units. So what you'd do is you'd fill in the gaps in your buildings with concrete once you had your base built and you knew like your opponent was getting close to the technology to have subterranean vehicles.
Behold how our this is
In
a
that
clear
case, sure, you'd like build concrete between all of the gaps so that they couldn't like emerge. I mean, what's it called? Because if it's a plane, it's land. When you're submerged, you surface. Do you surface if you're subterranean?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So you'd build concrete between the buildings so that so that their units couldn't surface between your buildings. You know, so they'd have to surface away, and that would totally negate their like subterranean capabilities, because that's their advantage. They could pop up in the middle of your base and start wrecking shit, and if you'd focused a lot of your base defenses around the exterior of your base, then you were dead, because by the time a handful of subterranean units pop up, everything would get wrecked.
Mm-hmm. Right, hang on a second. Captain Lewis is 2 turns away. Right, we're going to have 1 turn to get in there, but I just don't see how we're going to do it without the time to build siege equipment, unfortunately.
We're gonna go in gungest of hose.
I'll probably take Riga, and I might take Florence, because I managed to beat that army. So they're going to run into Bologna, whilst the other guy that was in Bologna is going to go down here and try and take Florence from these 3 crappy units, so I think I might be able to do it. Let's see what happens. If I get counter-attacked here, I'm going to get stuffed. Oh, come on.
Are there any other units on the map within range of Jerusalem? That's all I want to know.
No, there aren't.
Else?
Nothing. We'll get there in 2 turns.
Okay, so this is all we've got. This is
all we have left to try and do it.
This is Captain Kitchen Sink throwing everything at it. You don't even win the game if you have Jerusalem, right? You have to have Jerusalem plus everything, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta have it all.
So if you've got to have it all, what's the point in Jerusalem? Or is that our own objective?
No, you've 45 regions plus Jerusalem.
So just all the regions then?
No, there's way more than 45 regions in the game.
Right, so you need at least 45 regions plus... Right, sorry, I thought 45 was all the regions.
Jeez, look at the weather here. It's like... There's been some nuclear fallout.
Foggy as shit out here.
Alright, I'm just gonna put, like, unit after unit after unit blocking this path.
Our cunning foe has reached our walls with their St. George, save us! The enemy have the walls. Look to our defense or all will be lost.
I mean, it would be excellent if we were to somehow win this game.
Impossible, I think the word.
I mean Jerusalem, not.
Oh, Jerusalem, right? Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, that's all. I'll take that now.
We will see.
I mean, it is going to be clutch AF if we take Jerusalem.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast,
good thing I didn't put that Jewish category on the stream though. It was a weird suggestion.
It was.
Which was adamant that we operate a stream that should be classified as Jewish. Don't know what it means by that. Don't even know what the qualifying factors are. I can only assume it's the Friday night thing.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the like Twitch environment and ecosystem to know what's what and when. But it's the first time ever that this is like suggested that as a tag or category for the stream. Be absolutely hilarious if it turned out there was an entire like subculture of Friday Night Total 2 streamers that were all Jewish. And we just didn't realize it was a thing. Though I feel in that case, then the entire community would have been really angry at us, like Gentiles just like jumping on the thing. Like just by pure accident, it was a thing. In a very culturally sacred thing that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you could get cancelled so quick and just be like, we're really sorry guys, we had no idea we were like culturally appropriating the Friday night Total War 2 stream. Oh, you have, yeah, and I cannot remember the name of it. I want to say Seder, but I am not that clued in to Judaism to remember. Someone will spell it for me though. Oh, what's it called?
Shoot him in the back.
I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, shit. Get back, man, you dafties.
And is it the Sabbath? The Seder is for Passover. I was miles off, but it is a kind of like evening before meal. That's what I'm getting confused with.
Right.
That is the. Was that the majigs on the door thing?
No idea.
Paint the crack. Not remember the Passover. It was like paint the crack on your door, and they won't kill all the firstborns or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember.
The Passover was some folk wouldn't get killed, right? So, God, there's a lot of stories in those books, though. In that, like, it's a lot to remember.
Oh, hey. All right. What's happening? Oh. Alright, shoot them.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Come on. The AI's got no idea what to do here. Stupid AI.
They've had no idea what to do other than just relentlessly attack us for no reason.
One more volley. Yep, okay, now go. Get out.
Like, I'm not really sure what their MO is.
No. I still can't believe how they've managed to stay in the game this long. Is the thing that baffles me. All of them, like, just how they've managed to...
They've all teamed up, haven't they?
None of them have attacked each other. It's just weird. I should tell you what, you were down here.
Well, they're all in cahoots, aren't they? This is the take home from all this. They all decide to work together.
Our men are winning the
They
battle.
like ran around the corner, saw that, and they're like,
this,
nope.
We will smash the enemy.
Like that meme of the baby running in the room that I
Yeah.
enjoy.
It's not going to help them though, because I'm going to go chase after them.
I love that toddler gif where he just waddles into the room.
It's the
and
facial
like,
expression as well. It's just fantastic.
But it does it in a way that it's like it's either like pooed its pants or it just can't stop itself. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got too much momentum to turn around. It's great.
Yeah. Oh man, all the peasants died. They're all gone. Right, who's left? Who is left? Just some dismounted noble knights that are running away.
Are peasants dying not just kind of par for the course for all medieval warfare?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you don't have a large number of peasants dying, it's not medieval, is it?
Is it even a war?
Yeah. Well, is it even just medieval life?
Yeah. I feel they just had wars every time. They were just like,
Good tidings. The enemy
the peasants'
general lies
death
dead.
rate is
We've sent the base
only
guards.
moderately high. Should we do something about that?
How many peasants died last week? 10,000.
The enemy
Not
will
enough.
freeze the field. All of Christendom will be
I feel
awed
like
by the
we've
victory
created
we have won
systems
here
to stop this kind of low peasant death rate from occurring. Is there any way we can mistreat them more and get more out of them?
Have we taxed them yet? Oh yes, we've done that. Okay, fair enough.
Even though they're the backbone of our entire country, should we not tax them some
We are
more?
besieged. The enemy lays siege,
It's outrageous, isn't it?
We must prevail.
To think that, like, we all thought we were, like, so fucking clever, and it's like, well, are we though? Or did they just give us the vote and do exactly the same shit?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like, oh no, now we have democracy. The common man will be treated as equal with his richer counterpart who has inherited most of his wealth. Like, look, there are rags to riches, rich people. But the self-made million or billionaire is a fallacy. Can we just, like, as well as Jeff Bezos has done, I did hear somewhere that his parents loaned him 300,000
Oh
to
yeah.
get his shit started up, and it's like, I'd love just 300,000 from my parents. Do you know how successful I'd be with 300,000? At least 300,000 more successful than I am now.
I reckon I could start a reasonable business with 300,000. Like,
To war, then, sire.
it would be okay, you know.
Well, I think it'd be enough to be quite comfortable because I'd literally have no loans. You know, like, whatever business I'd start something with.
Lead our forces into
I'd already have especially in like the 90s when he started. You'd have a property and you'd have some stock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be like, you could outright buy a property. It would just be like, this is mine and I don't pay rent on it or anything. You'd have the property and the initial stock. Your outgoings would just be keeping the lights on. You know, whatever overheads you have for, like, heating and lighting, whatever building you have. And your initial stock, which if you're doing your business correctly, should pay for itself once it's sold. That's like, you know, business 101. The shit you sell has to pay for itself plus the overheads.
Oh, attack this wall. Get on the wall.
But with a cheeky loan of 300 grand. Like, yeah, good start. What's his face? Musk, who is, I mean, visionary in terms of public perception of him.
Yeah.
Like, he has done great
the battering ram is in
when it
place.
comes to
It'll not be long before our enemy's defenses fall.
making people think he's the good guy in all of this.
Lord be praised.
Like,
our siege towers are at the walls. Our enemy have
anyone
no
on
return.
that amount of money is clearly at a point where they're clearly bothered about money. It's like it's not that like earning that amount of money just like snowballs and you're like, oops, I keep earning more money.
Done well.
I think Bill Gates is at that point.
That-
Whoops.
And he's not even
Seems
the
to have made
richest
more
though.
money.
Yeah, his seems less intentional because he does have the kind of vibe of like trying to stop it, but like Bezos and Musk, like they're not even trying. They're building fucking dick rockets. Like they actually look like penises. It's like, could it be? And I don't want to say more on the nose because I don't want it on my nose, but you know what I mean. Like it's a big penis rocket.
Our soldiers have proved their worth today. The enemy's walls belong
Like,
to
mate,
us
come on,
now.
come on. Like you know what it looked like. There's no way it looks like that because it's the most aerodynamic. Like it would be smoother. It wouldn't have a bell end if it was aerodynamic. Like it would at least just like all other rockets would just smooth into like pseudo phallus. It's like with the two of them now, it's just a dick swinging competition, and then they justify it by being out like, look, we're pushing space tourism forwards. Well, you're not, are you? Yes, they're going on fucking joyrides, but apparently like expensive cars didn't cut it for you anymore. Because it was annoying that everyone could just drive on roads. So you had to go into space. But not even proper space, just the very lowest point at which you can classify it as space so you can say you can. It's like it's all status.
Oh yeah.
Like if they went, look, here's our privately owned rockets and shit. I mean, admittedly, some of them went to the space station, but these ones with like fucking Bezos had taken like Shatner up. Good for Shatner. Like he was the only one of the fuckers who looked like he cared about getting this opportunity, and he is already quite rich.
Yeah,
But
he's doing quite well.
He genuinely enjoyed it. And he's just a mentalist as well. I love him. I love his just like balls to the wall, like this is me. This is how mental I am. I'm gonna just be mental forever until the day I die. It's great. All the others were just like, my bank account's too big, and this is the way to show my friends that my bank account's bigger than theirs. Fucking whoop-de-doo. Oh, you haven't been into space with William Shatner. And by the way, who was that dickhead who didn't go? Like, get fucked, mate. The one who paid for it and then was like, oh, I've got another, what do you say? Like, I have another appointment or some shit like that. Like, something else. He had, like, a scheduling conflict. There ain't nothing that, like, gets in the way of that schedule. Like, oh, is that the day of your space flight? Oh shit, was that also my dentist appointment? Oh, I guess I'll have to not go into space.
You got no choice at that point. You just can't go.
He fucking bottled it. Like, that's it. And I'm like, totally fine to bottle it, but if you've got so much money, you can buy a space flight and you don't fucking go, you need to get in the fucking sea. It's you're a fucking embarrassment. I think it was an anonymous dude as well, wasn't it? It was like some super rich dude who didn't want to, like, for people to find out
Dunno.
that he didn't want to go into space. There was just some like fourth guy who didn't go and said he couldn't in a scheduling conflict. Scheduling conflict, like, just make up you're ill. Like, couldn't even make up that the anonymous person was unwell. Like, imagine if they just said, got COVID, I have to isolate, sorry. You'd be like, oh man, worst time to get it, right? You'd buy that, but just someone going, I've got something else that can't be pushed back, that is more important than my space flight. You wouldn't take that for the Wright brothers, or that transatlantic fella and lass. The lass who did the transatlantic flight, actually. I'm sorry, I'm busy today. Not doing it. Are you breaking the world record today? Are you doing this never before? What's that? Neil can't make it. He's got something else going on. Can we put Buzz in command? Can't go with Buzz. What about Collins? Well, he's only going to fly the pod. Dunno. Yeah, it's smells as someone was like, oh shit, I'm sorry I've waited 45 minutes for this roller coaster ride, but I need to nip the loo. I'm gonna have to not get on the ride.
By the victory we have won here today.
Everybody cheer. Yeah. Yeah. Right, we've got Florence now.
This is it. It's all come to this. Florence. Who's left? Everyone else.
All the other regions.
Everyone in the game.
Victory! These people now kneel before us, my lord.
Calm down. This pointless building.
Well, it's pretty. Yeah, because it's not going to be built before the.
Hail, my king! By your will, sire, we shall engage.
All right, Bologna's okay.
By God's will, we have triumphed. Hail, my king! Orders.
Shame these guys aren't quicker because there's a lot of them. Imagine if they could all just like bomb it to Jerusalem.
No. Right. They'll be fine. 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 What's left up here? 2 turns left for them to. There's nothing really left in that. Right. Okay. How far are you? Oh no! I've been stopped by a bloody rebel army. I lost 144 men order resolving that. Are you shitting me? What do you do?
Well,
AI
that
in this
truck
game
is
is absolutely trash. Like, oh, I don't think I've got enough. I might get attacked by the army in Gaza as well.
Oh, if they come out and get us, do we not even get to attack Jerusalem?
They might just pop out to the. I'm there, right there, right there. They might just do it. I don't know. Right, let's have a look. Well, let's see where we are in the faction rankings. Let's do.
We're not even winning
we are
points.
Miles ahead. So far ahead of everybody else. It's not even close. Military ahead. Production went up. Territorial massively ahead of everyone. Financial. This is still the Mongols who have like all the money.
Are we the moral victors?
Population ranking, we're miles ahead of everyone. Just overall, yeah, massively, like, we're miles ahead. If we weren't getting constantly attacked by everybody, slowing us down, we'd be dominating. I mean, we're kind of dominating.
Maybe they knew that.
We're hugely ahead in terms of sheer landmass, of how much is controlled.
It's a weird, like, it's a weird win criteria. You know, like, it's all or nothing, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, we didn't get re-attacked. What are you doing? You're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. France is gonna have a go, like.
Mother truckers.
France is gonna be a dick.
So I was talking earlier about like toxic masculinity and incels,
Right.
which is about the funniest subculture I've ever seen. It's like, look, sometimes you lose, right, and you say it was the controller or it was the game or whatever, you know, and you just like you blame anything but yourself. But the idea that there's a community of men who can't get dates with women who are just like, it's not me. It's the entire female population that are wrong. It's like involuntarily celibate. It's like, get this. Have you tried being nice to women? Because they might go for that.
Don't be daft.
Look, look, I'm a bloke, so I can't speak for women. And, you know, all I can say is that maybe they'd like you to be nice to them and respect them,
Hail my king.
rather than you going out with the assumption that they have to like you, and if they don't, it's their fault. It seems a very odd perspective. So the last night we're chatting about this, and I was saying, look, if one person says you're being a dick, they might be a dick.
Oh my god, Joe, we can attack. They haven't built the wall. I'm going for it.
We've got it.
For some reason, they hadn't repaired the wall.
Amazing.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it. It's like second to last turn.
Balance of powers in our favor. Yeah. So if everyone says you're a dick, you're probably a dick. If one person says you're a dick, they might be a dick. That was the kind of take home I was saying. And to wind the last up, I went,
Where's the
it's like France. It's like France is sat there going, why is everyone saying we're dicks? It's like, might be you. Might be you. Too easy. Very low hanging fruit on a very on the classic like Anglo-Franco rivalry. But I did enjoy it. I was like, yeah, look, the English aren't immune to this either. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like, you know what?
Yeah, but we know everyone dislikes us. That's the thing. England's very self-aware of the problem.
Fucking error. Well, some of the population, I might add. Some of them still think we're fucking amazing and
we are amazing.
Did nothing but everything
we understand that, people may have disagreed with the certain methods. Although, to be honest, that was so long ago. It's just ridiculous for anyone to hold a grudge on that shit. Where are you going? Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Everybody back! Everybody back!
I'll take the grudge if it's a whole kind of like.
Nope. Everybody back. What are you doing?
Cast the first stone kind of thing. It's like, yes, absolutely. If you are a member of a civilization or people that has never warred for selfish reasons and tried to conquer the world, then absolutely you can criticize anything any other nation or people or civilization has done. There's a lot of different like pie cutting, and I'm absolutely a pacifist. I feel that like everything should be just like solved through diplomacy. In practice, I don't know how easy that is. That's something that, in a way you've got to say like maybe war is unavoidable in some ways. Like,
I think in some cases it is, but
war is like almost avoidable. But then is it like, what's the difference between war and any other diplomatic approach if that results in just tons of people dying? Do you know what I mean? Like, what if what if you sanction places into starvation? Like, the end result is the same, and in some cases maybe more torturous. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can, you can play the kind of like, we never go to war thing, but if your actions would drive a country into like poverty and starvation, and you achieve, just so you can achieve the same results as what a war would have got you without putting like soldiers on the line. From a like utilitarian approach, it's the result is the same. You've got the control, and you've killed X number of whatevers. X nation, X people, X whatever. You didn't do it, you didn't do it with like tanks and planes or whatever, or with soldiers on the ground, but you're still at war if you're outside the city besieging them. If you cut off all the supplies of food to a place, you're still warring with them in a way. It's just what they call it now. I mean, like, it's not modern warfare, hybrid warfare. Is that what they call it now when they use shiz like?
I guess so.
Where they use like the internet and misinformation and propaganda, and it's like the result's the same. The goal is the same.
We've done it. Oh my god.
And the casualties are the same. That was kind of underwhelming, Jim. I thought it would be like we've had more arduous battles for Carnarvon.
We did it. Right. Now I just have to defend it for like 2 turns.
Well, repair the walls.
I'm going to repair the walls.
That was a major weakness.
And I'm going to build whatever the hell I can build.
The day is ours, sire.
I'm also going to exterminate the populace. Because I'm being
do it.
a bit of a dick. But repair that wall. Build a church. Oh shit. I can't do anything else. Right, I've just got to fingers crossed that one more turn we're not going to have that. Ah, that's unbelievable, that. Okay, so we got that. So the job's done down there.
Orders.
I guess we have to attack these now. This should be easy. I'm just going to auto-resolve. There's no one left there.
The day is ours, sire.
Oh my.
This is English soil now.
I always feel, should we have been doing this from the start?
Well, we
throwing
couldn't.
caution to the wind.
We couldn't. We were under attack several times a turn, every turn. It was impossible to get out of the... at one point, it was almost impossible to get onto the continent.
We should have been the gungest of hoes. Just split all our armies in half and just went half armies, they'll be fine. We'll see how they do.
Hail my king.
Kill him.
Sire. As you will, my king.
Kill him again.
By God's will, we have
Just execute.
honorable.
Imagine, after all this.
Hail my king.
Oh my god, you're 24 regions controlled.
Half the map and the Holy Land.
Over half the map and the Holy Land with 2 turns left to go. I'm alright with that. And the by far and away the
moral
strongest
victors.
faction.
Yeah, this is very much a moral victory.
Just winding down to the final couple of turns now. Nothing left. I don't think I can do anything left now. Oh no, they've laid siege to Jerusalem. Don't attack.
Of course they have.
Don't attack. No, they're doing it. Oh no, they're not. That's for some reason a Danish diplomat talking to me in Jerusalem. Don't do anything. Just skim through everyone's turns. Come on. This needs to be finished. You want an alliance?
We have something for you.
Sod off.
No? You
Fuck. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with this AI?
Alright, you can get married, sure. I'll build the Thieves Guild as well. Okay. Oh man, they gave up on that fight as well, so this is fine. They're fine. Are you fine? Can I build some units for some reason down here? Yes, I can. There's no reason to do it. Where am I going? Here we go. What's going to attack me?
My Sultan wishes you dead. I will
Alright,
not waste words on you.
You know what? I might be able to defend against that. Okay, this is it, Joe. I'm going to auto-resolve. I'm not going to auto-resolve. I'm going to go into the last turn here, and we're going to see what happens. It's going to say you have failed.
Imagine if we took Jerusalem, you just auto-resolved it, and it failed.
Right, we're blockading a port as well. Oh, we never took Caen back. Ah, I should have done that. Should have done that. That's a regret. Okay. This is it.
My liege, we must make a stand. We are besieged.
Where? You can besiege all you want. This is the final turn of the game.
How is it all come to this?
I mean, you can continue playing the game. I could like literally continue this thing, but I'm not.
Yeah, you could just smash it off.
The enemy lays siege, sire. We must prevail.
That's got to be the most used. Oh no! Here we go. The final turn of the game. I've got to defend Jerusalem. It's quite cinematic, really. Right. Sure. Let's do it.
They don't have many though, do they?
They don't, but there's a lot of missile troops, which is annoying. I'm gonna have to like try and box them in the streets. Oh my god. Do I have non-smashed down walls, or did they? I don't know if I've got smashed down walls or not. What's this? What are you? What are you? You're one of them. Alright, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Stick them up there. At least I can shoot at them a little bit. And on the other side, I'll do the same thing. Ah, okay. What you doing? Onward, forward, forward, onward. Yeah, shoot them. Machine gun.
A satisfying sound, isn't it? Is it I don't watch a lot of it, but when I do watch NASCAR, there's always this one camera angle just right down by the side of the track. Right. As the whole pack goes past it, it just goes as like 30 odd cars just go past it 200 miles an hour next to this camera that's sat on like the crash barriers.
Nice.
It's amazing. It's like you can like hear the gaps between each car in the pack. It's one of those like, if there was, I guess, an audio version of hashtag oddly satisfying, it would be that.
Get in there.
Save us. The enemy have the walls. Look to our defense or all will be lost.
Here we go. Defense at the gates of Jerusalem. Final action of this. The fact that it's come down to this is quite quite good fun.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
I mean, we could always just, like, change up the rules and just say this is what we were trying to do from the very beginning.
The enemy are
You know, just
badly blooded.
retcon the
They've
whole
lost
thing and
half
just be
their
like,
men.
you know, this is what we were going from at the start. Spoiler alert. We've thrown in a big twist.
We were actually just smashing. We're just going to do half of it and Jerusalem. That was the plan.
We're just genius creators, and it was all a ploy. This is very, this is the most avant-garde of streams. It's the classic stupid game anyway, innit? Oh. Didn't even want to win.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Get him. Get him, get him, get him.
Heavy billman! Heavy billman! God, heavy billman this area!
There's a pile of dead horses around here now.
The boy.
Let's get right in here. Cinematic view. Oh dear. They're all gonna go down.
As they should. Mother truckers.
The enemy army flees the
Oi.
field. Pursue and run them down. Heavy billman! Behold how
Yeah.
Christendom will be all.
Defended it. That means I win. That means I win everything. To have
Quit the winner.
captured and then successfully defended Jerusalem with the final 2 turns of the game, I think is worthy of overall victory.
Moral victory, right?
Yeah. Come on, cycle through the turns.
Well, this is not how I expected this to go, but
Oh,
yeah, we can take that, right? That seems
obvious.
it could have went more badly.
Oh, there's another King James. 2 King Jameses. That's pretty solid.
What's the plural, by the way? Jimmy?
Jimothy.
So dumb.
I don't know why it hasn't. Turns remaining 0, unless is it going to do it now? I don't want to do another auto resolve if it's just going to like, I mean another end turn if it's just going to
keep going.
Keep going. So well, I'll click it and then we'll see, right? If it does it and someone attacks, then we'll just call it there and we failed.
Yeah, I thought we'd have some kind of like.
Oh, I think it's either gonna do something or it's just crashed. Oh no.
It just went nah.
No.
It went, nah.
Oh no, there we go.
You lose.
What
you
on earth
lose.
happened there? I know.
You lose and we're not having it. You can get stuffed with you trying to keep playing crack on.
Right, oh wait, man, what's going on here? Just end the game. We all just want it to end.
Everybody wants it to end.
Just stop.
We've learned our lesson. We'll never try to play a non-indie game again.
Sure, you can have 240 florins. Sod off.
Goodbye. I look forward to our next meeting.
Go away.
Is it trying to resolve all the remaining turns for the other people?
And all these like weird it looks like all the diplomats are trying to talk to us, but then they don't. So I don't know what's going on. And that slows the end of the game down.
I mean, the turn counter says it's 226, but the game knows that 225 is over, right?
Right, it's over, Joe. I'm stopping. We didn't wait. It hasn't said anything. It's just continuing.
It just went nah. Just crack on. But the
oh, there we
victory
go.
conditions.
There we go.
So the victory conditions have not been met, but it's just.
I feel like that is a slight exaggeration of how. It's a little bit misleading as to how the game went. We
need to print screen that and just like frame it.
What?
When we get to our upcoming marketing clinic and like on camera stuff, I feel this image needs to be printed and framed and in the background on your camera, James. Just a big victory conditions failed.
Well, I think that's a little bit harsh, if I'll be honest. We've done all right.
Let's say the medieval era has come to an end, and despite the considerable achievements of your people over the centuries, i.e. like more than anyone else, they have failed to conquer the known world.
Which I think is asking a lot.
I know, I love it how it's like, you must conquer the known world or you're a failure. It's like, geez, Dad, give us a break.
I know. Right, well, I think we'll call it there for this evening because this has been one hell of an epic. It's nearly 3 hours of trying to get this thing finished tonight, so I'm going to go because I want to eat some food.
It's going to end with this. This is how it ends. Yeah. This is how our experimental, medieval, Total War, long form, historical, non-indie 30 streams ends. Victory conditions failed.
Yep. That's how it all ends, with some bloke writing me story in a book.
We've learned a lot. I think we've learned a lot, and going forwards we'll have some other stuff. Some other stuff which won't have us fail at the end of 13 streams.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We'll try something.
Good practice,
we'll try something a bit different, yeah. But it's been good fun. A bit frustrating, but yeah, we'll be back, I guess, fairly soon with different games and different streams. Yeah,
that's the one. Just give us money. I mean, I feel we need it now after this shit show. 30 streams ending with a medium. I want it to be a challenge, but I don't want it to be too easy.
Yeah, we need. We're gonna have to
Somebody needs to go back and just cut the audio from when we started this and we chose the difficulty level
and just throw it in at the end.
Just throw that and things that have not aged well. It's been fun. I've been enjoying. I actually love these streams. These are my most favorite of streams because I just get to drink beer and chat shit.
Yeah, it's been good fun. We'll come up with some other games to play.
We'll continue to drink beer and chat shit, but it won't be with
Medieval 2 anymore.
No, get fucked, Medieval 2. You know where to go. Get in that fucking sea.
Right, but yeah, thanks
real.
a lot for joining us for the stream tonight and for the rest of the series. If you've been following the full thing, we'll be back in the next week or so, a couple of weeks with a new stream.
Yep, that's it. That's the end. We need sad music and fade to sepia.
I know.
The fuck just happened?
I'm going to go eat some food at nearly 11 p.m. because I haven't had my dinner yet.
Oh man, you should have dinner. I had dinner beforehand.
I'm going to go
living the dream. All right. Well, enjoy your dinner, James. You haven't earned it. You failed to conquer all of the known world, which is the very moderate and fair victory conditions this game set for you.
I know.
I'll have just all of the known world, not the unknown world.
Yeah.
But just have 26 of your 42 pieces of dinner and the holy dinner, and you'll be fine.
All right.
Class.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Aye. Not the next campaign.
No. No.
Enjoy your dinner, Jimmy.
Will do. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.